What is going on? Larry from Great Lakes E-Bikes, and today I just got a package of my first delivery of the new Velotric Triker. Disclosure time. This bike was actually not sent to me at all. I know a lot of the reviews on this channel are bikes that have been given to me. I own an electric bike store. I happen to sell Velotric, Ad Motor, Hey Bike, Aviton bikes. I bought this with our own store's money because I truly have a good feeling about this bike. You know, it's something that I'm excited to stock in my store. And the reason I'm doing this video is it's pretty new, so I want to make a video about is it any good, and then we'll make a decision, you know, how much am I going to be stocking this bike. For comparison here, I do have a random Ad Motor with me today. This is their recumbent style, which is totally not one I'd usually be comparing this bike to, but I have all of them in my memory. I know what they all look like, and I'll be able to compare them, you know, one to one for you guys to give you the full picture. So let's see how this builds, because the Ad Motors take a long time to build. I'm hoping this one goes up a little faster. I've heard good news that they do build pretty easily. So let's find out. All right, we have a lot of foam and a lot of clipping to do here. This is going to take a little bit, but you know, I have a good overall feeling. It looks like most of the work is kind of done for us here, so thank goodness. I really appreciate that, especially when I'm building bikes all day, every day. All right, so now that we've got everything unboxed here, you can see we're gonna have to attach these handlebars. We've got 3 fenders to then attach, and then of course the front wheel setup. Shouldn't take too long, I don't think, but we will make our way towards this nice rear basket that comes with this great inlay. It's like a bag that goes inside the basket. All right, so in this box, we'll open the first thing. We've got pedals. We're gonna need those. Noticing not folding pedals, but I think that's okay. Some nice things that come with it. Looks like mirrors, bar end mirrors here. And what else? These might be, is this a big old headlight? Let's see. Wow, that's pretty. I wonder if maybe even these have blinkers on it or something. And a horn? Who knows? It's interesting because usually in Velotric you'll see a lot of like duplicate parts. Like you'd think they'd carry over a lot of like the Fold 1 Plus parts on this. But even looking at the frame here, other than the actual, you know, part that folds, it doesn't really share a lot with the Fold 1 Plus. Similar looks for sure, but it's definitely a frame built specifically for this. Like they're not just recycling the front end, they're not just using the same exact parts. Everything is uniquely built for this bike, and I love seeing that. Anyways, back to here. So we have our headlight, we have our pedals, and then of course, should have known, our Velotric display. And it's great because this is something you do want to see duplicated. That's the same great screen you get on bikes like the Discover 2, you know, something like this Discover 2 right here, or the Fold 1 Plus, things that make these bikes so great, or even, you know, the Breeze. They all have these great, super nice color with a lot of features screens. So far, so good on this unboxing. Now the next step, I'll say getting all of this foam took about 10 minutes. And if I had to guess, probably gonna take me 20 to 30 to go over everything, tighten it up, probably add a little extra grease to things. Putting on those dang fenders I know are gonna be a pain with a lot of little screws. But you know, yeah, probably like 20 minutes and I'll have this thing built. So I'll check in after that. All right, got it booted up for the first time. Probably took about half hour. I'd say if you're not used to bikes, give yourself 45 minutes to an hour to get the whole thing done. The fenders, you had to kind of like pull these bars a little to get them in place. A couple finicky things, but other than that, pretty easy to install overall. It's a nice looking bike. A couple things off the bat I'm noticing that are different. First of all, this screen, it's one of Velotric's latest releases, and it's got a little bit of a new ecosystem. Some new colors, some new words that we'll see throughout here. So when we're used to this button actually being the cycle through your 3 different ride modes, this is actually a horde. Wow, that's loud. Additionally, I'm thinking in the menu we'll have something similar to the different ride modes. So we do have a sensor swap, which means you can go between torque sensor and cadence sensor. And then here we have a beginner mode, on or off. So I want to probably go ahead and turn that off. And what we are doing is an increase in speeds and pedal assist levels. So yeah, we're a little more advanced here. We don't got to worry about that. And now we can get to 5 levels here. Okay. And then, yeah, so that's interesting. It is, you still have your torque sensor, so that's good. But you are missing what makes kind of the other Velotric bikes special, the 3 different ride modes. And to be fair, on a trike, you probably don't need them, but I thought they'd be on there, to be honest with you. But yeah, we still have our 5 levels. That's what's most important. We have a full 7-speed derailleur system. You'll notice we have not the Tektro brakes, but it's nice because you do have the safety. So for hopping on this, you can lock the brake out, and then you can mount up on the seat and not have to worry about it moving around on you too much. So I think that's basically it about the parts. I don't know what else is worth getting into. Got a decent Shimano Tourney derailleur system, a pretty compact drivetrain. You got your disc brakes. You only have brakes in the rear for 1 disc brake instead of an individual brake on each side, which I think is going to be just fine. It's a nice compact size overall, which I like to see, yet you still have some decent sized wheels. Overall, I have my hopes very high on this because they nailed the most important thing that I've seen on these trikes. And it's, you see this seat is over here and the pedals are way over here. Now the Ad Motor's biggest failure, in my opinion, they do the seat and the pedals almost right below it. So you have a good probably, I don't know, foot between the center of the seat and the center of the pedals, and that's going to get for a nice range of motion, and that's a huge thing on these trikes. Alright, we're ready to take this thing out on its maiden voyage here. Let's do this. So I ended up taking it really short ride, like a half mile. But I went up and down the road a couple times, and then I just really wanted to put it through its paces, like turning, because that's where this bike shines, actually. So for a trike, now your immediate instincts when you go from a regular bike to a trike is to still lean into your turns. And this bike, the way that the geometry works, the way that they built it out, it feels really natural where you can actually turn a little without tipping the bike. So that's a huge engineering feat that I think that they did a great job on. Now, granted, you're not supposed to do that. So it handles like a normal trike too. So what I like about what I'm trying to say is that if you're turning at maybe 8 to 10 miles per hour, you can handle turns without needing to slow all the way down to like 1 or 2 miles an hour to be able to turn. Other trikes, Ad Motor in particular. In fact, the City Tri is the 310 it's called. is the one-to-one comparison of this bike. Granted, it's about $800 cheaper, but it doesn't have different gears. It doesn't have a torque sensor. It doesn't have nearly the grade of components that this has as far as like name brand components. It does maybe have a slightly bit better battery, but other than that, this one takes the cake. Of all the trikes under $2,500, I couldn't not recommend this. That's a double negative. I like this trike a lot. I think it's really impressive, and I think it's a very high quality trike for the price. Okay, it has been probably 5 days since the first half of this video, and I've rode this thing a lot. I've let customers ride it, and I'm trying to get a feedback between this and the most particular one is the City Tri 310 from Ad Motor. Now, it's not this Ad Motor here, it's a different one that also folds. Just similar specs to this Velotric Triker. And if I had to guess, if you're looking for a folding trike in particular, you'd be comparing the two. Ad Motor, super reputable, Velotric, super reputable, but it's a newer trike, and Ad Motor's been doing trikes a long time. So where do I end on that? Oh, sorry, the other big wrinkle in that is the $17.99 price point that the Ad Motor trike would be, and the closer to $2,400 on the Triker. That's not a little amount of money. That's a pretty noticeable jump up. And is it worth it? Do you get that much more on the Velotric? I think I say yes. I would personally, if I were in the market for a trike, I'm not, but there's a couple key things that would make me pick this. So that's why I'm gonna end this video, is kind of sum up the real reasons why this thing is a winner. Now the first and most important is right behind me. See how the seat here, let me get a better angle, is about a foot behind where the pedals are? That's kind of huge in the trike world. It's hard to find something that doesn't have the seat directly over. I even talked about this earlier in the video, and it just lends to so much comfort, especially in a confined space. Now, it does its best to be a smaller size trike, and when you do that, usually you have to give up like the ability to kind of sprawl out. However, because this seat post is on such a hard angle, it really is comfortable. Even I'm about 230 pounds, and I'm just under 6 foot tall, and I can ride this. I could probably go on a 20-mile ride on this and not feel like it's small. I think it's plenty. So that's huge. Now the next thing is the jump in technology that you actually get from the Ad Motor trike to this thing, because it is very, very noticeable. So this is the exact screen that comes on the Ad Motor. First of all, there's a whole process to it. You have to wake up the battery by pushing this button twice, then you hold the power button here, and then the screen is on. And it's dated. It's black and white. It's boring. You got your 7 levels of assist, no torque sensor, let alone anything else. So it's just basic. And maybe that's good for some people. You know, you don't want the technology. You just want to hop on, see what level you're at, and ride. And for those folks, yeah, there you go. You save a lot of money, and it's a lot easier to comprehend. But I think those of us who are used to the technology that we're starting to see in e-bikes, especially people who want to future-proof themselves. So we power this screen on, and this is what we see, a much crisper looking bike. It looks just very, very nice. You know, it's a futuristic screen with a lot of settings we can play with. So let's open this up into the menu and go through a couple things. So beginner mode, perfect for, this is probably going to be a lot of people's first e-bike. Boom. Beginner mode. Speed limit, of course, that's for, you know, making sure you don't, here, I'll show you. You can either unlock it to go a little bit faster than the 12 that it's set at, up to 20. Ooh, yeah, hopefully that's showing up. You can go up to 20, but it's set at 12, which honestly is plenty on a trike. Go back here. Sensor swap, if for whatever reason you do like the Cadence sensor, maybe you have bad knees or something, you can go to a Cadence sensor instead of the torque sensor. The rear light mode's super underrated setting, but it's a way to make sure that your taillights are blinking when your headlights are on, just for extra visibility. What else do we have here? Your headlight, your throttle limited setting. A lot of this stuff probably not worth going into, but connecting to the app, of course. The fact that it has an app, and Find My Apple iPhone, another huge security bonus that this bike has against some other trikes. The fact that you can, on a GPS, see where this thing is at all times, kind of huge. And then the last kind of, seal the deal thing for me is a small kind of aesthetic thing. It's this rear storage. I really think they did a great job on this thing. It is mostly because this bag looks so nice and it comes with it. So I'll open it up. Plenty of room, more than enough. You can go to the farmer's market, whatever it might be. I happen to have like the charger and everything in there still, but yeah, you can fit a decent amount, even a cool little secret pocket right here. Gotta love it. And then let's look at this seat again too, just the quality on it. It's sturdy, it's thick, it's got a lot of, it can handle some bigger butts, if you know what I mean. It's nice. It really is a nice bike. And I don't think it's overpriced. Now, that was what I was most worried about when I first started riding this thing, or reading about it rather. $2,500 on average, right? I think right now it's a little bit less than that, but even at $2,500, I think it is worth it, for real. It's a nice bike. Now, here's the point in the video where I would have cons about this bike, and I really am struggling. It's expensive maybe, like just, you compare with the bikes that you're going to buy direct online and build yourself. They're not going to be as easy to build as this, so right there's a reason. The quality of parts you're going to get are better here. You have name brand kind of tires. You have Turney Shimano shifter up here and derailleur down there. You have a UL approved battery, which is huge. I mean, all those little things, that's what you're paying for. A better overall quality of every single part of this bike, down to the stem that's used here, the seat that's used here. It's a lot better. It really is. It's noticeably better. It just feels nicer. So my final thoughts, who is this bike for? Now, I've seen a lot of trikes. I've ridden around a lot of trikes. I've sold a lot of trikes. And this is for that person who knows they want to get out. They know they're going to be riding a lot, and they want something sturdy and reliable. And they want an out-of-the-box experience that's not going to be annoying. Sometimes with the ad motors, and I don't want to diss ad motor because I still sell them in my store. I like them a lot. And now they're going to be the more affordable option, and this is going to be like the more premium option. It's just better. So I'll still keep both. But I guarantee if you were to ride the ad motor and then this, you're going to end up with the Velotric one. With the exception for some of these more unique ad motor trikes, like this recumbent one and some of their other cool kind of like rickshaw style and those ones, you're not going to be able to find anyone else who does something like that. So that's where ad motor is still going to win and still going to be part of our store. But right now, Velotric really, really nailed it on this trike for your average person who, maybe you have a knee injury, maybe you have balance issues, but you still want to keep up with people. You still want to ride. You still want to, be outside. Maybe your knees hurt. You're trying to get back out again, but you can't. This is going to get a lot of people out of the house, and I love that. That's what I love about e-bikes. And e-bikes get people out, but trikes get even more people out because just about anyone can hop on this thing and have a really fun time. I think the final riding experience I want to talk about is how well it works as far as not being too tippy. A lot of other trikes, you have to slow down to like 2 miles an hour to start turning. Granted, I put this up on 2 wheels a couple times on purpose. I was just trying to put it through its paces. But even when I did that, it felt controllable and wasn't scary. And I barely even noticed that the other wheel was up. So that tells me I can put someone who's a rookie or just starting on a bike like this, and if they were to accidentally put it on 2 wheels instead of the 3, they might not even notice and probably be just fine. So the engineering on it and the geometry of the bike's pretty awesome. It gets 2 thumbs up from me. I don't know what else there is to say. Triker is a good bike, and you can't argue with that. Okay, buy it, I guess. Oh, I guess the other thing is, if you are in Grand Rapids and you're looking to try one, I usually have one here at Great Lakes E-Bikes, or I should, you know, as of now. And yeah, just come try it for yourself if you want. I'm Larry. Nice to meet you. I'll see you around. Bye.